East State in women's basketball on Thursday. Here are thoughts from the head coach of the Crimson Tide, Christy Curry.
We really found a way to kind of gut out a win, really gritty win, to find a way to win down the stretch. And thought that was a real positive. You always want to start the season on a positive note. And I thought we were still able to learn a lot from it. And you can learn as much from a win as you can a loss. I truly believe that.
You certainly can, and we saw Alabama outscore Stetson 20-11 in the fourth quarter. Did you like more of the defense, the offense we saw late in that ball game?
Yeah, I thought we were at critical stops. We went to changed our defenses more effectively. And I thought that we were able to come up with some loose ball hustle plays and really turn that into offense. So it was good to see, down the stretch, we were fortunate to get some critical stops.
I'll have more in a moment. Hey, Bama fans, each Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. Central, join us live for Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. This live streaming talk show features the latest on Alabama athletics with exclusive conversations with Tide student athletes, coaches, and media members giving their perspective on the Crimson Tide. You can watch on YouTube, Facebook, and X, with all conversations archived as well on the Alabama Insider podcast. Roll Tide with Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Join us this afternoon for Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR, streaming live at 2 p.m. Central on all CTSN social media platforms at UA_CTSN. Crimson Tide Today is brought to you by Crimson Drive, driven by NASCAR. Crimson Tide Today is a production of the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
There you go. We're back. We're live. We're brand new. We're off. We're running. It's Talking Ball. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Welcome in on a Thursday morning. That sees another beautiful. It's going to be another beautiful day in the Tennessee Valley. Not going to have too many more of these a couple days, but right now, 47 degrees, your high 72. Safe travels into work, into school, wherever you may be headed. The lows next week, we're going to hit in the 20s. Now's a good time to give Talon Heating and Air a call, 256-503-4490. Talon Heating and Air, you get that system tuned up for just $49. They can do it now before that cold spell comes in. Thomas, Terry, Jeremy, Talent, HVAC.com, helping us get started here on a Thursday morning. College basketball from last night. Both Alabama A&M and UNA in action. UNA, North Alabama, traveling to take on Mississippi State, and the Lions would trail this one 38-37 at the half. Mississippi State pulls away in the second half. They outscored Tony Pujols' group 48-25 in the second frame, 86-62 your final there. Lions led by Kane Jefferson's 16. And I tell you what, it's weird. It's weird looking at the UNA box score, Drew DeArmond, and not seeing a familiar name in there this year.
Yeah, Jakari Lane, he had his debut the other day. His Texas A&M was very impressive in Bucky's debut. It was actually a milestone for Coach McMillan. It was his 100th college win in his first at Texas A&M, and so Jakari Lane going to be playing his final season of collegiate eligibility there.
Yeah.
And not at UNA, but had 3 spectacular years for Tony Pujols and the Lions and helped elevate their program. And I think UNA led by as many as 9 in that first half yesterday at Mississippi State, but couldn't hold on. And the Bulldogs and Chris Jans get the dub. I believe it was 86-62.
Yeah, that's what we said. Yeah.
Yeah. And so nice win for certainly for Mississippi State and the SEC, but not a bad showing for UNA and Tony Pujols. So they'll move on, and they're worried about their conference first and foremost. That's why you play those guarantee games for them, is to get them ready for league play, and certainly they're excited about it.
And Alabama A&M traveling to Indiana. Hoosiers' first game of the year, Bulldogs' second game of the year. Indiana kicking off. Remember, this is the Darren DeVries era there, new era in Bloomington. They get it done 98-51 over the Bulldogs. So Alabama A&M traveling up there, getting a little bit of cash to play the Hoosiers last night. For Alabama A&M. So little Thursday night college basketball, or I should say Wednesday night college basketball. Let's see here. Don't forget, staying local, we've got Thursday night high school football tonight. Several area games have been moved to tonight. First round of the high school football playoffs begin tonight. Remember, we told you yesterday, Whitesburg Christian Academy going to take on Mars Hill Bible. That is going to be tonight. North Sand Mountain's playing tonight. Geraldine is playing tonight. And, of course, if you download the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app, Randolph West Morgan playing tonight, a rematch from game 1 of the season.
Yeah, it's a little bit unusual usually. Don't see teams unless you're in the same region, which these teams aren't. So that's a little bit unusual. Sometimes you'll see teams from the same region. We've certainly seen that, ironically, out of the region that our good friends of the Whitesburg Christian Academy Warriors are coming out of. A few years ago, Collinsville and Fife, I think, in my opinion, had the two best teams in 3A that year, and they played in the regular season to decide the region championship, and then in the semifinals to decide a trip to, I guess at that point it was still Tuscaloosa or Auburn before they changed the format. But yeah, it's certainly something though that when you are not in the same region, that's a little unusual to play your the first game of the year and then the first round of the playoffs. But well done by David Lloyd and Randolph, who got off to a slow start, but certainly stayed with it and continued to grind and get better. And look, man, we know what Drew Phillips and West Morgan have done. They have the longest regular season winning streak in the state of Alabama right now, and they're looking to make another deep playoff run starting tonight over in Trinity.
All right, don't forget, coming up tomorrow night, we will have a full slate of high school football games all across North Alabama. That'll lead into the Woody Anderson Ford High School Football Scoreboard Show, powered by Lake Gunnersville Ace Hardware. That'll come your way tomorrow night. Should be hopefully the forecast seems to be getting better for tomorrow night.
Well, I checked it last night for Hartselle, and Michael Seal and I will be over there for the Buckhorn Bucks taking on the Hartselle Tigers over at J.P. Kane Stadium. And, it was saying 50% chance last night within the corridor of 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. But I hope it does improve, certainly. We're definitely going to prepare accordingly to be ready to go over there. But certainly we're looking forward to being with those folks. Should be a huge crowd. Hartselle has tremendous support, and I'm sure Buckhorn's going to turn out. They had a 7-3 regular season, got a lot of good young talent on that team in David Green's first year, and certainly going to be a tough task, but one they're looking forward to competing.
All right, we'll set the table for the high school football playoffs in earnest tomorrow, as we'll run down everything for you 7-1, let you know who's all where and when.
And we should have several results because, like Scott said, a lot of games tonight.
A lot of games tonight.
Mm-hmm. And
Muscle Shoals. Don't forget
more.
Muscle Shoals and Mae Jemison. Don't want to forget Mae Jemison. The Jaguars.
They were first.
Yeah, they announced that last week that they were moving. And they're playing over in Muscle Shoals tonight. That's a 1-4 matchup in the region. Their Muscle Shoals, of course, finishing the year, I believe, ranked third in Class 6A, the regular season, third in Class 6A. Well, I can look right there. Yeah, third. And Hartselle finished sixth in the final polls. So.
And they were 1-2 in the region. I mean, who knows? They could see each other again in the playoffs, but certainly Buckhorn's going to have something to say about it, going over there to compete. And then Mae Jemison, because of the tiebreaker with Hazel Green and Southside Gadsden, they get in with the 4 seed. So good luck to Mae Jemison representing the Huntsville City Schools. It's certainly a very tough matchup, but two really good defenses playing, and probably going to be a low-scoring, quick game over in Muscle Shoals tonight.
All right, there you go. A little high school football for you on a Thursday night. College football news from yesterday. Auburn and Notre Dame agree to a home and home series. That series will start in 2027 and be 2028. Auburn will travel to South Bend in 2027. Notre Dame will return the trip in 2028.
That'll be interesting for whoever the new coach of the Auburn Tigers is, whether it's DJ Durkin, and we'll talk to Jake Crain about that here in hour number 1. Or are they going to go outside there? Could it be our good friend John Summerall? Could it be Kenny Dillingham? I think Kenny Dillingham's name's become a hot one. He must be looking for a raise.
He turned a good year last year. He slowly has built
in the Big 12, and then they go to the Final Four. So.
Yeah.
Quite a run for Kenny Dillingham and Arizona State. Or, excuse me, I believe it was the quarterfinals, not the Final Four, but they did a heck of a job.
All right, 256-576-4977. That's the number to the phone lines if you'd like to join the program here on a Thursday morning. It's funny because I was listening and I kind of read some articles yesterday, and you mentioned that Auburn job. Mm-hmm. And one of the articles that I read was that Auburn has kind of lost their way a little bit. When they used to make hires and when they hired Hugh Freeze, the article states that they lost their way in a lot of ways because, number one, they hired a guy that was basically a complete fraud. And number two, they hired Brian Harsin, who Brian Harsin fit the Auburn image from a standpoint of toughness, but his arrogance and his inability to relate to high school coaches, to the recruits in the state, and just his arrogance around him did not work. And that Auburn needs to get back to what makes them Auburn. And this article stated, I think it was Brandon, I need to look to find, I think it was Brandon Marcello that wrote it. But the name that he put, and he said the only name that he would say that would fit what Auburn's persona should be and what it was and what it used to be was John Summerall.
Yeah. And Jake Crain's been championing him as well. So his and I know he's been very interested in the job, as you would imagine. It's an SEC job with a lot of tradition and resources, and him being from the state of Alabama, certainly being here in the Rocket City and Grissom High School. He's very, very familiar with the lay of the land, already had great success within the state at Troy. So certainly you would think he'd be on the short list for Auburn, and we'll see what happens with other jobs like Arkansas, like Kentucky, where I think he's going to be in the mix. Potentially Missouri, if Coach Drink went there, I think he'd be on the short list. But we don't know if Drink's going to leave Missouri and go there. And I think, certainly Florida's still very, very interested in Lane Kiffin, and LSU. He's on the short list for there as well. It's interesting. Some of the Vegas odds have Lane Kiffin the favorite at Florida. And certainly I think he's going to be the Gators' number one overall choice by far. But I still have a hard time believing he's going to leave Ole Miss unless we see a Mario Cristobal down the stretch.
I get what that means.
Right. It's called gagging.
To your point, 3 days ago, the best odds for the Florida job, Eli Drinkwitz was still minus 110 for the Florida job. Mm-hmm. Lane Kiffin was plus 200. So both of them still neck and neck there, a little separation, but not much. Vegas, according to Vegas, Jed Fish
He's a guy that worked for Spurrier. He's kind of an under the radar former Gator.
He's a plus 600.
Yeah, which would open up the Washington job, which, I did a speaking engagement last week in Atlanta, and some of the folks over there were nervous about Ryan Grubb potentially being on the short list at Washington if that job came open.
I was going to ask you that. It's not just Ryan Grubb, but there are prominent head coaching names that we keep mentioning for these jobs. Lane Kiffin, Eli Drinkwitz, Jed Fish, James Franklin, Clark Lee. We name names like those. Those are prominent head coaching jobs. But what about coordinators? Kirby Smart was a coordinator when he got the Georgia job. There's no guarantee it's going to work out, but there's no guarantee that it's going to fail either. There have been good coordinators that have gone on and been really successful for their first jobs in big-time jobs. Glenn Schumann. Why? I mean, can we be seeing his name becoming a head coach? I mean, are there coordinators that could be a surprise and you say, wow, I did not see that coming, but they become a head coach?
Well, due to the ever-changing landscape and wanting to make an impact to keep a roster together, I still say a lot of these schools are going to go hunting for standing head coaches.
Okay.
But certainly if the South Florida job comes open, John Summerall's employer right now, Tulane, Memphis, then I think guys like you just mentioned, like a Ryan Grubb, would be interested. Now, you would have to certainly, I think it'd be for a certain salary. And I will say I would be patient if I were some of them, like Kirby was. Just don't jump at the first job.
Right.
You want the right one, the right infrastructure where you have a chance to win, because you don't want to take the wrong job. And then, of course, if you do, then it's going to adversely affect your ability to eventually end up with an SEC type deal. Right now, I don't see an SEC job coming open that would attract, that would
a
be
big time coordinator or whatever.
I don't think so. I think there would be a lot of head coaching interest in those. So we'll see. But and it also depends on what other jobs open. I just really don't think Clark Lee's going anywhere. I think he's about to get a raise too, but a lot of it's going to be, can Vanderbilt finish strong and still make at least a case to be in the college football playoff? And certainly they've got a tricky game at home against an Auburn team that, who knows? I'm going to ask Jake about this, but what kind of offense are we going to see now with Derek Nix calling the plays? Are they going to go vertical? Are they going to try to get the wide receivers more involved down the field?
Right.
I mean, and now they we know that who they're going with at QB too. He's going to get his second straight start. It's not going to be Jackson Arnold.
All right.
Ashton Daniels.
I do
that. Ashton Daniels. Ashton Genty.
Stanford transfer.
Yeah, but Ashton Daniels, the Stanford transfer, who was he made some plays in the last game, and of course he came off the bench to lead into the win at Arkansas. Right. Still struggled a little bit with the passing game. Just going to be interested to see the flow of it. I still think they need to run the football and play action, and we'll see if Derek Nix does that. And Derek Nix, a former running back himself from Etowah here in North Alabama, and then played at Southern Mississippi, had a great career. Had to give it up because of health reasons, even though he had a very strong career there. Didn't play in the NFL really, but certainly has had a really good coaching career and has been with Hugh Freeze for a long time.
All right, we got to get a break in, because when we come back, we'll get to the phone lines, 256-576-4977. It's Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Would you call a plumber for a root canal? The same goes for selling your timberland or farm. Choose someone who understands your property and can help you on the front end so you can capitalize on the back end. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction. As a guide, I have put many hunters in position to take a shot. It's time for you to take your shot. Let's talk about putting you in position to sell your property. Call me at 256-609-0512. Remember, Bo knows land.
The Blitz with Joe Hunk and John Abraham. Weekday morning starting at 9 a.m. on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You had a 16 home team jersey on, singing every word to the fight song.
It's a good song. Who sings that? Who? I can't read your lips.
Morgan Wallen.
Oh, okay. Hey,
Morgan.
he's performing in Bryant-Denny
Tuscaloosa,
Stadium.
Man. First concert in 40 years, and it's so good. It's so interesting that you say that with our next caller on the line because he's been raising Cain for Alabama to do these kind of concerts.
Let's go out to the phone lines. 256-576-4977. Brandon is with us. Good morning, Brandon.
Morning, Brandon.
Morning. Yeah, Greg Byrne actually responded to me on Twitter one time when I said something about 6 months ago.
Oh, wow.
And I shared it to him about the George Strait concert at Kyle Field.
Yeah, in Texas,
The total revenue for that concert was $25.7 million.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know if they can get to that. I mean, that's George Strait in Texas. That's like,
well, Morgan Wallen, according to the kiddies, he's pretty popular.
He is popular, but I've seen some of the ticket prices though.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
They are buying them hand over fist. You all see this social media. You might get a hotel in Russellville.
That's going to be the tricky part. Getting a hotel sometimes for game day in Alabama is tricky enough.
$6,229.
Yeah.
Well, Kyle Field made $3.9 million in their pocket on that George Strait concert for 110,000 people. That's a good payday. If you can do it once or twice a year, that's NIL money. And if you stay at certain camper places, I'm not going to say where I stay because that's probably already covered up anyway. Yeah. But that last LSU game that I went to when we went, I mean, there were people there that wanted to be there so bad. They were literally sleeping on the ground in tents, and it was 30 degrees at night. And they probably would have froze to death if I didn't go down there and take care of them. But that's true? What you're going to see. So there's going to be people sleeping in cars at Walmart parking lot. that whole town is going to be taken over. It's going to look worse than game day ever thought of.
And that's on. So that concert, the Morgan Wallen concert, that's on April 18th, right?
Yeah. The spring game.
Yeah.
And it's got a tendency, it could be cool that night. But see, he's already doing 2 nights at Clemson.
Oh,
that's right.
People are already hollering second show. So, and Becky Smith and Macy Price and all these other people I know, they were in the pre-sale, and they would forfeit their life before they would give up those tickets. I mean, when I say they're coming, they're coming. And if you're a single guy and can't find a woman at that concert, you're done. That's all I can tell you, because you're going to be outnumbered. It'll probably be 30% dudes, 70% women. So, I mean, it is on.
Yeah,
but you can make money. You can make money like that, and you're going to have to find ways like that to make money to help your NIL.
Well, the Spring Hill Suite, I mean, on Priceline, so I get a discount, but on the Spring Hill Suite right now is going for about $950 a night.
Jeez.
For on April 18th. That's just for one night. I mean, you're going to be looking at around $1,000 for a hotel room in Tuscaloosa for that.
Well, you could probably sleep in Taco Casa parking lot for free. In your car, which will probably be a lot of that. Probably a lot of trucks.
Yeah, just pay looking for me a little money, man. Jeez.
That's crazy.
One of our listeners has already ordered 10 tickets.
Yeah, they're not bad at face value.
No.
It's going to be the turnaround that's what's going to get people.
Yeah, the on the secondary market.
Gosh.
My friend here runs the Hawthorne Suites and 2 other hotels, and his business partner has one of the ones that is right there outside Birmingham. And he said the minute they advertised the show, within 3 hours, they were completely reservationed out.
It's insane. I mean, and that's the way it's going. You do that, you get a little bit of money in your NIL fund, and that's why
might get you a middle linebacker.
This is why, though, this is a good example, I think, of why schools wanted control of NIL.
Yeah.
So if you do stuff like this, you control the money coming in. You don't have third parties going out there doing all this other stuff. Alabama controls this money from the Morgan Wallen concert.
I'm not a hater, but I'm not a big fan. But get Taylor Swift in there next. Who knows? You might could have her Friday, Saturday, Sunday night.
Oh, wow. That would break. I don't think Tuscaloosa has the infrastructure to host that one. I really don't. They would crumble.
That would be insane.
Beyonce. I mean, I know Drew would go.
Hell no.
Drew's already, yes. He was excited when we were in Atlanta for Beyonce.
Free Willy.
He was overly joyed to know that the Beyonce concert was. We had to talk him out of going to the concert over the Alabama movie.
Yeah, our esteemed Uber driver had to tell me, that she was a country singer. Now, I didn't know that.
Oh, that's good stuff. And Moulton realizes, hey, we're going the wrong way.
Yeah,
you got to love it. I said that had to happen in Tuscaloosa at some point, and I hope they get a taste of the money. And it was like Morgan Wallen said on the radio yesterday. I love doing these kind of shows because you don't have to do as many of them to reach as many people.
Yeah.
He said these shows where you go to like Lakewood in Atlanta and you do 10 or 12,000,
right?
You got to do 10 of those shows to reach as many people. He said, and the cost is so much better. We go set all this crap up one time, do 2 or 3 shows. The profit's better for us. He's like, we love to do these big headline arena shows like that. So I'm hoping I'm going to sit back and see. My son wants to go to that real bad.
Yep.
And I'm waiting to see if somebody comes through with some pre-sale tickets. And we'll see if they add a second show, may see what we can do there. I just was not going to pay $1,000 for a hotel room and end up with, $1,000 in tickets. It's good for the school, but it's not good for my wallet.
Thanks for the phone call, Brandon.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thanks, Brandon.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's get to Jason real fast as well. Good morning, Jason.
What's up, Jason?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Drew, I got I think I know who's going to be the coach in Florida.
Who?
It's going to be Dabo Swinney.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, yeah. That's a divorce that's ready to happen. It's Clemson, Dabo.
Yeah.
Dabo will be coaching a school in the Southeastern Conference next year. It won't be Auburn.
No, I wouldn't expect that.
Cleveland.
That would be really, really strange to trade one shade of orange for another.
Oh, no. He ain't going to Auburn, but I could picture him in Florida.
Yeah.
Yep.
I got one for you.
Sure.
Do you know if John Summerall grew up an Auburn fan?
I don't know. I've never asked him that because I know that he was blessed to be an SEC athlete and he was recruited by Kentucky and certainly proved his worth and became a starting player and had a really good career.
But he also, remember, he knows the area very, very well.
Yeah.
Having 2 stints of coaching down there at Troy.
And he grew up here. We know that.
Yeah.
But his family is also from Texas.
Right.
So I don't know if what side of the fence he was on there. And then once you start being recruited like he was, and he played on good teams at Grissom, there was probably one of the 2 best eras ever. Ronnie Massey and Larry Robinson being the 2. But I've never asked John that. I do know that he had connections to Troy before he got that job.
Yeah.
Now he's never coached at Alabama or Auburn, but certainly, as Scott said, heavy ties to the state and his style of coaching, his intensity, persona. Yeah. I think he fits what Auburn needs. I'm not sure they need to keep going this offensive guru, path, but we'll see. I mean, Kenny Dillingham likes to do the worm.
Yeah. I just don't see how they could pass on John Summerall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would argue having the contract sitting on his table right now, don't give him a chance to take another job.
Right.
Well, I tell you what, and he has a huge game tomorrow night. Tulane takes on Memphis. Memphis is
back
in the AP poll, not in the college football playoff poll.
Mm-hmm.
So John Summerall, I don't want to say it's an audition because he has a lot of his resume already built as far as success goes. But if John Summerall on national TV tomorrow night gets a win over Memphis, then his name is really going to keep on being mentioned for a lot of other jobs as well. Not only just the Auburn job, but a lot of other ones.
Yeah, they can walk in Memphis.
Yep. All right, Jason. Thanks for the phone call, bud. Hate to cut you off, but we are 7:30. Got to get a break in because that all ties in. This conversation all ties in to Jake Crain, and Jake is on the other side of the break. We got to get his thoughts on all this, on everything. And so John's wife is an Auburn grad. So that's the family ties. Got to get a break in.
I mean, obviously they've been together since they were both at Grissom. I did not know that's where Jenny went, but that makes a lot of sense.
All right, let's get a break in. Jake Crain is next. We'll get some more on this next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. Going to be a great day. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-70s, dropping into the low 50s as we head into the overnight. Partly sunny to mostly cloudy skies. We head into your Friday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid-70s. There is a chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms as we head into Friday evening, and that could have an impact on Friday night football.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
We are a championship school, and school is in session.
And the clock's going to run out, and Bama's going to win it. And for the love, let's get out of here.
Join us Saturday as the Crimson Tide take on the LSU Tigers at Bryant-Denny Stadium. Our coverage begins at 3:30 on your home for Alabama football.
Your home of the Alabama Crimson Tide is 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Abraham here for my friends at North Alabama Mortgage. Did you know that average home equity is at an all-time high? But so is average consumer debt. Even though rates are higher now, you can use your equity to pay off your high consumer debt, student loans, etc., then refi when the rates drop. Don't put off that new home purchase. When rates drop, prices will go up. Buy now and get the best price and then refi when the rates drop. This is the time to talk to the experts at North Alabama Mortgage. Visit NorthAlabamaMortgage.com for more information.
In the market for a new or used car? Look no further than Hyundai of Decatur. With a large inventory of new, used, and certified pre-owned Hyundai models, Greenway Hyundai of Decatur is here to service all of your Hyundai needs. Come visit our exceptional service department as well. With state-of-the-art facilities and a caring team of automotive professionals waiting to service your vehicle, make Hyundai of Decatur your #1 choice for all your automotive needs. Give them a call today at 256-274-0279 or visit them online at greenwayhyundaiofdecatur.com.
Tom Abraham here for my friend Mike Owen at Owen Home Appliance Center. You know, the holiday season is just around the corner. So come to Owen Home Appliance Center and get the complete Frigidaire kitchen. You buy the fridge, the range, and the microwave, and you get a dishwasher free. Or maybe you need a commercial kitchen for that huge family coming in for the holiday season. Let them help you with brands like Viking, Mealy, KitchenAid, Z-Line, and Cafe. Quality products, quality pricing, quality service. That's what Owen Home Appliance Center stands for. Just 8 miles south of the river on 231.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
We are your home for Sparkman football.
Williams going to keep it. Roll to his left.
He's getting there.
He
He's getting
is
there.
in. Senators take a lead. What have we witnessed in Harvest tonight?
The Senator Zone, only on 97.7 ESPN.com and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
Where dreams grow, drying up like rain. Welcome to the Plains.
Welcome to the Plains. Question is, who is Auburn going to welcome to the Plains?
Well,
we have our choice, and I believe it's the same choice as our next guest.
Well, he's been championing it for weeks because I think everybody knew Brother Hugh was in big trouble. Now we enjoy our weekly visits with our next guest. He's part of course, Crain and Company, the Real Daily Wire, and just per using YouTube, doing his own show, doing Locked On. He's one of the busiest guys in America. So we appreciate him for taking the time to join us this morning and having flexibility. And we're going to talk Auburn Vanderbilt, and we're going to talk about this coaching search, which arguably I think Alabama's most important was back in 2007 when they hired Nick Saban.
Yeah.
And right now, this may be a tipping point for the Auburn Tigers as well. Jake, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys. As usual, thanks for having me. And yeah, look, you're exactly right. Obviously, every hire is a big deal, whether you're coming off years of struggling or coming off years of having success. But it just feels like with this last half decade, 6-7 years where Auburn struggled, it does feel like this one's weighs a little bit heavier than the previous one.
You look at the Hugh Freeze era and you go back to the Brian Harsin era, and we were talking about it earlier in hour number 1. When Auburn's got to make this hire, it's almost kind of like that they got to get back to who Auburn is. Is that right? To say that they've got to make this hire to be that Auburn type of person?
Yeah, well, to get the magic back per se, I think, it's not as much about, just Auburn being back, but the personality traits and the characteristics of the archetype of the head coach that they get. I think they need somebody, and again, I'm not saying, it has to be offense or it has to be defense. I think you need to get somebody that has a lot of, what and vinegar about him.
Yeah, grittiness, toughness.
A tough guy back.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would agree with that 100%. And I know that's another reason why that you've been on our show and mentioned it even before Hugh Freeze was dismissed. about your admiration and the candidacy for a John Summerall.
Well, yeah. I mean, you look at the way he goes about things, the way he articulates things to the media and to the players. It's no nonsense. And again, that's not saying that John Summerall will come in and never lose the game,
right?
Or that John Summerall will come in and never struggle during a season. But I do think there is a type of person at a place like Auburn, that has all these nice things, but it's also tough. You need a certain type person to be able to not only have some success, but sustain it.
That's a good point. No doubt about it. And ultimately, in your mind, and Auburn as well as anyone we speak with, due to your father and being a big part of what Coach Dye built, and then just growing up around it and still keeping close ties to the program, what ultimately did Hugh Freeze in? Because I'll be honest, I was like you. I thought it was still a pretty good hire. I thought he would be able to put up offensive numbers. I thought, of course, we saw him recruit well. So he quickly started righting the wrongs of the Harsin era, because that was the biggest problem with that, was talent acquisition. But I just didn't expect him to struggle this much, especially if you would have told me he was going to hire a defensive coordinator of the ilk of DJ Durkin, because quite frankly, I think his defenses were better at Auburn than Ole Miss.
Oh, I think they 100% were. I think it didn't work out for Hugh for two reasons. One, I think there was a softness within the culture he promoted. And again, I'm not saying like he was going around just handing out dandelions to people, but you could kind of see it form itself when Auburn needed to come through, when it mattered the most. And listen, a lot of guys get ready for games in different ways, but with the reports out now, it's starting to make a lot more sense that like before you play Georgia, you've got Switchfoot playing at practice. Like what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? The second thing, I think the most important, is you missed your quarterback eval 3 years in a row.
Right.
That's what did him in, because you can't be considered a quarterback and offensive guru and then have a average to below average players at quarterback, and then you go and get Jackson, which is still like. And I've made a lot of dumb decisions in my life, but I just don't understand why that was the move when you had to have it in year 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
well, his inability to go after the bigger quarterbacks. I mean, you mentioned reports, and you get fired, and then all of a sudden everybody starts coming forward and saying, "Well, he didn't do this and he didn't do that." There were reports out there that Tommy Tuberville tried to convince him to sign Diego Pavia when he first came out.
Yeah, I don't know why you would need anybody to convince you when you look at the things that Diego Pavia has done to Hugh Freeze in his career. Like, I don't know, why would I need to call and convince you of that? Unless you were just, seeing him in your nightmares like Freddy Krueger. But I just don't get it. I don't understand it.
Yeah, and now I wanted to switch gears and talk about the Vanderbilt matchup. Certainly, DJ Durkin seems to have won the team quickly. We know he's a high energy, high intensity guy. I'm fascinated to see what this offense looks like without Hugh, and if Derek Nix has had some handcuffs on him, because we know he wasn't even the play caller for the most part. So, what do you think we'll see on Saturday with the Ashton Daniels at quarterback?
Yeah, well, it's not like you can put in a brand new offensive system in this amount of time, but where it gives you an advantage and where it's really different is the tendency of the play caller. So I'm going to go ahead and I've got a little info I think I can trust. Expect Auburn to take a lot of deep shots on Saturday, and why not?
Yeah.
If I'm DJ Durkin talking to Derek Nix, it's like, look, I think we got to win out to stay. I want this thing to be bombs over Baghdad on Saturday. So that's what I think you're going to see.
What do you think the realistic chance is? And if DJ Durkin does, let's say he does turn things around and they are successful in these last handful of games.
Oh, if he wins,
especially if he beats Alabama in the finale in the Iron Bowl, is he? I mean, is this a foregone conclusion that he's the next head coach?
I wouldn't say foregone conclusion, but I'd put it at about 70%. I mean, I don't know how you wouldn't hire him if that were to happen. Which, look, it's not super likely. It's a lot more likely that Auburn finishes the season 1-2 here with these last three than 3-0. But if he does, you're going to have a lot of questions to answer if you're John Cohen about why you need to keep this guy around, whether it's as a head coach or does that change who you'd bring in as a head coach to keep him on the staff as the DC.
Well, we've also seen what happened with Scott Woodward. I would think this is a career at Auburn anyway, defining moment for John Cohen.
Yeah, I mean, you get two hires at head coach at a place like Auburn in football. You get two. So regardless of anything else, if you screw up those two, well, you're barbecue chicken, buddy.
Yeah, and then we were talking about this before you came on, as far as John Summerall, and we have a listener who sent us word, and because someone we had a caller ask us was if we knew what side of the fence John grew up on as far as Alabama or Auburn, and I honestly didn't know because he was recruited by Guy Morris and then played for Rich Brooks and had a really good career at Kentucky. But from what we understand, I believe his wife Jenny is an Auburn graduate, so there's a connection in some way.
Yeah, you feel like there's always a connection. I just, if you're an Auburn fan, I need you to connect us with a great coach.
Yeah, that very succinct, great word there. And then, what are your thoughts on the rest of the slate? Is LSU? We saw the injury report with Weeks. He's questionable to doubtful, may not play. They've got an interim coach of their own. Is this a trap game for Alabama? What are your thoughts on the Tide hosting LSU?
Well, if you're Alabama, there's no way that LSU should ever be a trap game. I don't care how good or bad LSU's season is going. We talk about the interim bump and how you can play free in this, that, or the other. And that's true. But unfortunately for LSU, just because you fired your head coach doesn't mean you get a brand new offensive line. And they're probably going to have to sling this thing around. Mm-hmm. So have the element of surprise with a new play caller. But Bama's playing so good right now. And again, they're obviously not only in the race to get a top 4 seed, but be in the SEC championship game. I know LSU will go in there and play hard. But my washing machine plays hard and it can't beat Alabama. And I don't think the LSU can either.
And then what are your thoughts on Missouri and Texas A&M? I want to say this. You've been championing A&M since they got Elko. You told us, I believe, in Atlanta this summer that you really thought that A&M could be a college football playoff team. They certainly look like that's at least what's going to happen. They're undefeated right now, and they're playing, a Mizzou team that's on their third quarterback. But this is another situation where Coach Drink could be, I guess he could be just giving himself auditioning for other places and maybe trying to hold Missouri's feet to the fire to get a better deal for himself if he decided to stay there.
Oh, yeah. Drink's in a great situation. And, look, Zollers is their young guy. I think he's really talented. He's got a lot of arm talent. He's going to be fine down the future. He's just not ready yet. But, when you have a run game like Missouri has, you can find ways around that. I think that's going to obviously be the biggest thing for A&M is stopping that outside zone with Ahmad Hardy and making Zollers have to throw to beat them and put them in 3rd and 5 or more. But I tell you, Marcel Reed, you just feel like he gets better every game. You're watching this team grow in real time. And the scary thing, if you're other teams, is I don't think A&M's playing their best ball yet.
Oh. Jeff Lebby of Mississippi State got their SEC win that they needed last week against Arkansas. Do they have anything? We know they have something for Georgia, but do they have enough to get the upset at home on Saturday?
Well, I think they've got enough. It's just, are you going to be able to catch the breaks in the game? And then if you do have a lead in the fourth quarter, Georgia's just been incredible under Kirby Smart at finding ways to win games. And we know this Mississippi State team's still learning how to win. So I'm not worried about Mississippi State's ability to compete with Georgia. It's what do you do when it matters the most, toward the back half of the game. That's because you have to kill Georgia. Georgia's not going to beat themselves at the end. You've got to actually take them out.
Mm-hmm, that's very true. And finally, with this, the Friday game, certainly Tulane took it on the chin last Thursday against at UTSA. Now they're facing the Memphis Tigers. This is a game that is very important for Memphis, especially. Tulane's hanging on by a thread. But how important is it for either one of these coaches to win this game and continue to impress, potential suitors down the road?
Well, I think Tulane's pretty much out of it to be the group of 5 rep in the playoffs. So obviously for Silverfield at Memphis, this is one that keeps you really in the driver's seat, you feel like, of being that group of 5 team. And then if you're Summerall, you want to wear your best stuff at the biggest party, right?
Yep.
You're going to have a lot of eyes on you. You want to look good when it matters. And for the last couple of years, when his name started popping up, his teams that hadn't exactly set the world on fire. So I like Memphis in this one. I like them to cover the 4.5.
And is that gonna, if Tulane ends up 8-4 or something like that, is that going to hurt Summerall at all, or do you think a lot of power brokers are always? Go ahead.
A little bit,
sure.
Yeah, maybe a little bit, but I don't think it would dissuade people from hiring him.
Yeah, I think he's done enough both at Troy and I think at Tulane to show how good a young coach he is. It's just fascinated to see where it lands, and if he does end up on the Plains, it would be a fascinating journey for him back to his home state yet again at one of the flagship schools within the state of Alabama. Well, Jake, we appreciate the time as always. Let everybody know how to connect with you guys. And I know it's going to be a busy weekend with instant reaction and everything on Crain and Company.
Yeah, look, we're as dialed as anybody. If you haven't checked us out, just go to YouTube. It's Crain and Company, Crainn Company. And we appreciate it. And thanks you guys for having me.
Yeah, thanks, Jake. Appreciate it.
See ya.
All right, let's wrap up hour 1, shall we? We'll do it right after this break. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
John Abraham here with Bobcat of Huntsville. Men, the season is upon us. This is what all the playbooks have prepared us for. But here, there's no need for a 3-4 defense because we're not talking about the football season. We're talking about the get-done season. Starting August 13th, Bobcat of Huntsville will have a full line of steel products for you to throw at those jobs you've been putting off until now. So put away those fantasy draft notes and pick up the tool you've been waiting for because it's time to get it done. Bobcat of Huntsville, run off of Highway 20 in Madison.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, if you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself.
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your your shingles, we can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it or we can replace it.
But you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
At Stella at 5 Points, living isn't just about having an apartment, it's about living artfully. Imagine waking up with the upscale feel of Atlanta or Nashville right here in the heart of Huntsville. Modern, stylish apartments, open layouts, stainless steel appliances, and resort-inspired amenities. Nestled in vibrant 5 Points, you'll enjoy walkability, parks, dining, and quick access to downtown without the chaos. Stella at 5 Points. Live artfully. Live Stella.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Walking in Memphis, walking with my feet 10 feet off the field. Walking in Memphis, do I really feel the way I
You should feel the way you should feel.
Maybe I got the wrong head.
You put the other one on. There you go. He played Walking in Memphis coming back from break.
Cool. I got 6,000 headsets in front of me, so
yes, you do. Yes, you do.
I don't know what's going on here.
Well, there was a program in here last night.
Yeah.
Yes. 256-576-4977. That's the number to the phone lines. You can join us here for just another minute or so as we will we are getting ready to wrap up hour number 1. Coming up in hour number 2 to kick it off, Mike Detillier will join us.
Great to have him back.
Yeah, Alabama, LSU on Saturday. Boy, Alabama still a 9.5-point favorite. That does lead us into this. The availability report came out yesterday for Alabama, LSU. He's listed as probable, but his name is back on the report, and that is Ryan Williams.
Play the game. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear banged up. Don't want to hear, strained, whatever the hell. You've had 2 weeks. Get it ready. Get out there. You're making $1.8 million. Make plays or get out.
Is this just a lingering effect, you think?
I don't know. I don't care. Make plays. Going Mike Valenti on that. Don't care.
Just get it done.
Right. Had plenty of time.
Oh.
Yes.
Really no other surprises this week.
No, because
for either team, really.
Drake Kirkpatrick is not an injury situation, but Coach DeBoer, addressed that situation on Monday.
Suspended indefinitely because of the legal issues.
Because his issues driving like a Georgia Bulldog.
As for LSU, he listed as doubtful. Zach Weeks, linebacker, listed as doubtful. Questionable. Whit Weeks listed as questionable. Those are 2 big names that Mike Detillier will help us kind of figure out for sure if they're going to be back, because that's defensive talent for LSU. But really, I don't think any other big surprises as far as the availability report for either one there. By the way, the availability report for Auburn and Vanderbilt, really no big surprises there either for Auburn and Vanderbilt. Connor Lew, we knew the starting center, he is out for the year. Horatio Fields, Champ Anthony out, though they've been out. So really no big surprises on either end of there for Auburn and Vanderbilt as far as the availability report. So everything looks to be good. And Mike Detillier will join us at the top of the hour to fill us in from the LSU perspective.
Yeah, looking forward to that. Looking forward to getting his thoughts on the new athletic director, the interim tag, taking on Verge Osbury. been around a long time, get his thoughts on the direction there, the new school president at LSU, and the coaching search that's underway. Who is going to be the new Tiger? And could his good friend from South Louisiana, Ed Ogeron, be back in the program at LSU? That's going to be very, very interesting and some good conversation.
You know a name, and he's not going to be mentioned.
Yeah.
He's not going to be mentioned for any SEC jobs because it's out of his realm, not realm, but just doesn't fit him, his persona and everything. But look for Pat Fitzgerald to get back into coaching this coaching circle. I have a feeling, because remember, he got vindicated from Northwestern.
Yeah. And they're never going to be good ever again.
No. But Pat Fitzgerald is a name, especially for coaches. If any Big Ten job comes open, middle of the road Big Ten job, because of these SEC openings, if somebody leaves, Pat Fitzgerald is a name you need to keep an eye on. All right, Mike Detillier next.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
Alabama and LSU meet at Bryant-Denny Stadium in Tuscaloosa Saturday. The Crimson Tide laying 10.5, 49.5 the total. DJ Durkin, the interim head coach for Auburn, he's a 7-point underdog with the Tigers visit Vanderbilt, 45.5 the total at First Bank Stadium in Nashville. Atlanta Falcons and the Indianapolis Colts meet in Berlin, Germany, Sunday morning. Sauce Gardner, the defensive back for the Colts, will play if he clears the concussion protocol. He was acquired in a trade with the New York Jets this week. Colts a 6.5-point favorite. Thursday night football, the Broncos laying 9.5 at home against Las Vegas. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Hour 2 is upon us. 97.7 ESPN The Zone, Talking Ball. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, dedicated to providing care that improves lives, helping us get us going in hour number 2. SportsMedAlabama.com. For any of those nicks and bruises, give them a call. 256-881-5151. If you want to experience the SportsMed difference, don't forget, this Saturday, the final Saturday, SportsMed Saturday Clinic, 4715 Whitesburg Drive. They can get you taken care of. They are the official medical providers for the UAH Chargers. Don't forget, coming up next week, UAH traveling to kick off the new season, taking on the good old friends, Nova Southeastern, down there on the crossover, the Sunshine State GSC crossover. We'll have more of that next week. But coming up on Saturday, right here, tomorrow, Saturday, 97.7 ESPN The Zone, Alabama LSU back at it. Tied a 9.5-point home favorite inside Bryant-Denny Stadium, Saban Field. Much different look for this game than what it was when we were sitting in Atlanta.
No, I mean, I don't think anybody had anticipated Brian Kelly being dismissed during the season. There was a lot of expectations for LSU, and our next guest is one of our favorites. It's been a while. We haven't spoken with him really since the NFL draft, and he does a great job with his M&D draft report, but he also You can find his work at saintsreport.com, and he is co-host of the top-rated sports show in the state of New Orleans, or in the state of Louisiana. And of course, he's based out of New Orleans, WWL Radio. We always enjoy catching up with the one and only Mike Detillier, and it's been a busy one. They just hosted yesterday, Scott, the new president. We talked about LSU.
Oh, yeah, they got a new president and AD.
Yeah, getting aligned here.
Yep.
And now they have an interim athletic director who's no longer interim. At least that's what we're hearing. But we're going to talk about that and more with Mike. Mike, you're back in Huntsville with Drew and Scott. How are you?
I'm doing just fine, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Your first impressions of the new president of Louisiana State University.
Well, my first one wouldn't be my first one because I've known him for 40 years.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, he's a Bayou boy like I am. He grew up, I guess, maybe 20, 25 minutes from where I live. He's in his mid-50s, so we have about a 10-year difference. But, he's been all over the country. He's been involved in the Chicago Stock Exchange Trader Association, been in academia. So, again, his background is really in economics, much more so than, say, in the sports world. But I think he's coming to fruition real well. Man, that LSU head coaching job is a big job. And, I do think, he has taken off the interim tag and he's given that acting athletic director job to Verge Osbury. I don't know kind of the dynamics of if this is going to be a long-term job for Verge. I would assume it will be. Mm-hmm. Listening to Wade at times, he's a very calculating guy to tell you a story. He's a by-the-book guy. And so how this all plays out will be interesting. I do know, I remember back when Coach Saban took the job here, and he talked about, when he was at Michigan State, he was the number one guy in his own state. Think about the fact that Michigan will always be Michigan. Mm-hmm. He was at Michigan State. You don't have that dynamic here. You don't have a number two school that really you're sort of fighting for talent. And Coach Saban probably did it better than anybody I ever saw, was build that huge levee around the state and kept all that talent in the state of Louisiana, or the vast majority of it. And 8 out of the last 11 years, Louisiana has finished either first or second per capita in producing NFL players. A lot of talent in this state. And so it makes it a highly attractive job. But listen, while football, baseball, basketball, track, whatever, women's gymnastics is a sport in Louisiana, so is politics.
That's a great point.
So there's a lot of different taffy pulls going on here, exactly how that will work out. I do suspect that Verge Osbury will shoot for big game here. I'm convinced of that he will try to get a guy, big name coach. He's worked under Scott Woodward, and that was his reputation, for years, guys and women also with reputations and a long resume of winning. And I think Verge is going to do the exact same thing, or try to, put it to you that way.
Well, Mike, I mean, to me, the Brian Kelly was a huge surprise hire. That one just kind of, to me, was a surprise. Ultimately, I don't think it ever fit, but how big of a swing do you think then they go for?
As big a swing as they can go for. I think, my deal about coaching searches, and I've been on way too many, I guess, either 9 or 10. I don't recall the exact number, but I've been on 9 or 10 coaching searches, part of the committees to look at coaches.
Yeah.
And I've always felt this way. Let somebody tell me no. The worst thing they can do is tell me no. I mean, it doesn't hurt me if I try to go out and get the top guy or one of the top guys at their particular sport. So I would think Lane, I would be surprised if they didn't make that phone call to the agent for Lane Kiffin and for the agent of Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame.
Wow.
I would not be shocked that those two get a phone call. And, if you take it, one thing, you work out the deal. If not, you move on, so to speak. But I think at LSU, you're understanding what this is all about and how they look at college football here. Same thing in Alabama, at the University of Alabama, the same way. I do believe that, it's looked at a lot differently than, if you had Connecticut, South Carolina, Kansas, nothing against any of those states, but it's looked at differently down here in the South. Totally different look at how it is. So I do think they try to take the big swing. If they can connect, that part I couldn't tell you.
Mm-hmm. Well, Mike, speaking of swinging, they're going to take a big swing this weekend in Tuscaloosa. This has been a team that had a lot of expectations in the preseason. It looked like when they won at Clemson that they had maybe gotten over a hump. The defense looked much, much better under Blake Baker. But offensively, it's been a struggle all year. Frank Wilson is now taking over as the interim. How do you see this matchup with Alabama that's meant so much to the SEC and to both programs since 2007?
I think just because you change coaches doesn't mean all of a sudden this is going to change. You've had difficulties running the football. They're not a real physical team up front along the offensive line. You are replacing 4 starters from a year ago, but that wasn't a real physical team either.
Right.
I'll be honest. All 4 of those guys get picked. Last time LSU had 4 guys picked in the NFL draft along the offensive line was 1947.
Wow.
And I wasn't scouting back then either. It's just amazing to me that, for so many years, this team had been looked at as a team that really played kind of bully ball with you, to run the football, and always was really good stopping the run. And that has not been the case the last couple of years. They've had some real difficulties running the football and stopping the run. And you don't have a mobile quarterback. I got a lot of respect for Ty, but, he ain't Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe, if he was going into the College Football Hall of Fame, and I told him this, that only thing I would tell him would be to get the 2 tapes from the LSU game, and you'd never have to show anything again. It was like 2-hand touch
Right.
every time they played him. I don't think he really got hit real good in any one of those 2 games. LSU's had some difficulties with that, and I do think you're right. Blake Baker's defense has played better this year, especially in the secondary.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's kind of the look at this game from a different perspective, in that LSU will never play this year a better group of wide receivers than they will with Ryan Williams and Jeremy Bernard. You're not going to play 2 better guys than those 2. And their real strength is that cornerback with Mansour Delane, who transfer guy from Virginia Tech. And the first day of practice, I walked out of there and I told him, man, I don't need to see no more. That cat can play. And he's the best cover guy they've had here since Stingley. He's not the athlete that Stingley was. Well, very few people are. But he is tremendous cover corner. They have the number 1 rated defensive back in America in DJ Pickett. And PJ playing on the other side. So I think that's something to really watch. Can LSU affect Ty Simpson and throwing the football? And I was able to spend a long time with Ty at the Manning Passing Academy. He came there, and so, man, we almost all finished up. And I had a knee replacement like 2.5 weeks earlier.
Yeah.
So I'm walking with a cane. So I have my 6'8", 330-pound producer with me, So he's got a chair. He's holding with me so I can sit down and do the interview. And he was like, well, where we go next? Where we go next, Mike? I was like, okay. And I spot Ty Simpson. And they had very few people talking to him. All of a sudden, he's by himself. And I rate as fast as I could get there. We got there to talk to him, and he exhibited to me a lot of confidence. And then I went watch him throw the Friday afternoon, the Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. I was impressed with him. And I gave him what I thought was a compliment. I said, you throw the football like Garrett Nussmeier. And he laughed, and he was like, well, Mr. Mike, he said, a lot of people have told me that. And he's playing like I think most people thought Nussmeier would play this year. It's been terrific. I mean, you throw 20 touchdowns and only one interception and, one starting assignment. He's been fantastic. He's played as well as any quarterback in college football this year. And their defense has been opportunistic. When they needed a play, they get one. But, man, still Alabama's the better team right now, and they're playing with some confidence, and LSU isn't. Yeah. And all the ills that they've had under Brian Kelly, that's not going to go away because you made a coaching change. I think some people think that like there's a magic wand and that it'll hit and all of this will sort of go away. It's not. Now, what we saw in the second half against A&M, basically LSU throwing the towel in, you sort of knew that it was the end for Kelly, especially after losing a game against Vandy the week before where they played absolutely lousy on both sides of the ball.
Yeah. Well, Mike, ultimately, what was Brian Kelly's biggest undoing in Baton Rouge?
I think a disconnect between himself and players, coaches. I saw a little bit of it, and unless you're there, you don't see all of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had players tell me, I don't think he really knew my name.
Wow.
That I think he knew I was part of the team, but he never called me by my name. And when that starts to happen, I had way too many of them tell me that. And I thought, that was just Brian being Brian, because, he was a unique guy here where I think he'd like to coach from the ivory tower. Almost like a CEO where if he had good people below him, they would do a lot of the work and then he would sort of chime it all in. And you can't do that today. Mm-hmm. We live in a totally, totally different world. I do know, not that this makes any difference, but if you win, it doesn't make any difference. Like he would come to the LSU coaches show. He would show up right on time. I mean, like right before the show started, or he was a little late. And as soon as it was over with, he'd take off. He'd leave, wave to the crowd and leave. Man, I've been around there with Coach Miles and Coach Ogeron. Man, especially Ed. Ed stayed there for like an hour and a half afterwards. His handlers would have to yank him out of there. It didn't do him any good either because he got fired. But I do think there was a certain disconnect. And the other thing, too, is the visual. The visual of seeing him on the sidelines. You can't be MFing everybody out there. Okay, that's a bad look. And, you were doing it with players. You were doing it with coaches. And I get it. It's part of the competition, and it's in the heat of the moment. And for most players and most coaches, they could care less. Okay, that's just part of the game. But from the people on the outside looking in, that was a bad look for Kelly. He's chewing behind on his offensive coordinator, and, he's wearing the headsets on. Well, if you're that upset about the call, why don't you change it? Okay? But I think what really got him was he's an offensive-minded coach, and his offense stinks. They couldn't run the ball. And you think about what you thought of Brian Kelly at Notre Dame. Running the football, power, physical game. Did you see any of that at LSU?
No.
Jaden Daniels masked that for 2 years. Because Jaden, man, I watched him play a couple years back against Florida. And I got invited to be on the sideline, so I'm watching. And it's, to me, still the greatest game I've ever seen an individual play in Tiger Stadium. And one of the funny parts of that game, Pete Jenkins, they got him out of retirement. I think at that time, Pete Jenkins was 81 years old, coaching the defensive line because they had a health issue with their defensive line coach. They had a linebackers coach coaching the defensive line. They brought in Pete. Pete came in and coached 5 or 6 games to end the season. And Pete gets off the bench where he was sitting, and Jaden had run like 80 yards for a touchdown. And he grabs Jaden, and Jaden's laughing as he sits on the bench. And he looks at me, and he just sort of winks. And so Coach Jenkins tells him, Jaden, I love you, brother. I love you. But you know what you did? The worst thing in the world. I got to put my lousy-ass defense back on the field. And Jaden looked back at him, not a second hesitation. Coach, they score, I'll score another one. And it was one of the funniest, and neither one of them, they weren't trying to break each other up, but man, you could tell, Jaden was special as a runner, and it did mask a lot of the ills. When you think about Brian Kelly at Notre Dame, it was like a conveyor belt of offensive linemen.
Yes.
He put out every year. Big physical guys, and most of them hit into the NFL. Same thing at tight end. And yet, that was not the case here at LSU.
Yeah, that was probably one of the biggest surprises. And I know you just got through having your Chilean Tuesday. We've got to ask you, too, because I know you know John Summerall very well. We think he's going to be on the move, John, Mike, and we love him. He's done a great job at Troy and now at Tulane. Now, they got a big game Friday, but your thoughts on John Summerall and his future?
Yeah, I agree with you. It's not anything he's told me, but he's a hot coach at this stage. Bright guy, very, very organized, detail oriented. I think he's 41, but he coaches old school.
Yeah,
he's kind of an old school coach. And, he gives you some tough love at times, but he's also that same guy that'll come wrap his arm around you. And I think he understands you can't treat, young men like you did even 10 years ago. There's a certain relationship you have to have with them to motivate them. And I got so much respect for him as a coach, and he's done a great job. It's not easy. Because there is some academic things there at Tulane that make it a bit difficult to bring in some athletes there. But man, he's as bright a coach as I've seen at Tulane. And I'm a big Willie Fritz fan. I thought Coach Fritz was a tremendous coach here. But man, the way John just has come in here, has taken over, the way he can handle a team. I really thought this would be a rebuild for him at Tulane this year. I really did. Because when you lose your star quarterback to Duke, their top running back, Mekhi Hughes, goes to Oregon. And the team last year was really built around those two guys. And then you lose, I think it's their top 5 receivers. They lost 4 of them to graduation. And then they lose their tight end in the transfer portal. They lose their entire secondary but one. When you're talking about 2 safeties, 2 corners, and the nickel corner. And what he was able to accomplish early, to me, was shocking. Really was. Now, I didn't think he had the horses to go up against Ole Miss.
Right.
But everything else, man, he's done a heck of a job. He knows how to squeeze all the vitamin C out of the orange. He really does. Now, last week was a disappointment because of how they got beat against Texas San Antonio. They weren't even in the contest in that game, and he didn't make any excuses for it. But I think that bothered him a lot more than the shellacking that he took against Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss, because I think he felt that his team could line up and really go there and beat San Antonio, but it didn't work out at all. Whoever gets him, they get one hell of a coach, and he'll do a great job recruiting, but he surrounds himself with good assistants. And virtually every player that I've talked to that has played under him will tell you that, hey, tough coach, he gets on you, but he's also the first guy to talk to you about, hey, listen, you understand why I got on you, and trying to get you better as a coach. And there's some closeness there between him and his players that a lot of times you don't see between a player and a coach. So whoever gets them, if it's Auburn, if it's Arkansas, whoever, and they getting a guy that I think Tulane's a good to at times very good team. They got one superstar, John Summerall.
Got to ask you real fast, is your good friend Ed Orgeron getting back into the game somewhere next year?
He's going to get back in the game. I had him on last Thursday, and you know, the one thing with him and I, a lot of times he forgets, like we on the radio. You know, he'll talk, so you got to kind of somewhat read into what he says. But he had never mentioned this to me until June of this year. He tells me he got put into the Bayou Sports Hall of Fame, and so they had a big function and everything. He was one of 7 guys that got put in, and he told me, "Hey, T-boy, getting back in." I'm like, "What?" He said, "I'm bored." I'm like, bored of what? Sitting on the bench in South Florida and watching the waves. And he was laughing. He's like, "You know what I mean?" He said, "Yeah, he said, I got to get in." He said, my 2 boys, they both coach at Miami. One coaches running backs, the other one receivers. And his other son is the tight ends coach at Tulane.
Oh, wow.
He said, "Yeah, I think it's time for me to get in." He said, "My boys are grown up." And he said, I'm ready to get back in. He said, "It doesn't matter. If I get a head coaching job, that would be great. But he said, if not, I'd come back as an assistant coach somewhere." But he said, 2 caveats in that. I was like, "Well, okay, what are they?" He said, "1, man, I can't stand the cold no more. You know me. Man, I can't take that cold no more." And he said, "I'm getting old like you." And the other one was, he said, "You know, they gotta be a team that I think could play or being certainly in the hunt for the national championship." He said, "I just don't want to go somewhere where you're just coaching the coach." He said, "I'd like to get an opportunity to try to win another national championship." And he won 2 at Miami, a couple at USC, 1 at LSU as a head coach. And so, no question, I do think 2026 he'll be on the sideline somewhere. If it's as a head coach or an assistant coach. And I always tell him this: I think college football is better with you.
Yeah.
Because he's a personality, you know, like very few. He's to the point. He tells you what he got to tell you. You might not like it, okay? But he's going to give it to you. And he put on quite a show.
There's no question. And you always put on quite a show as well.
Oh, man. So he's I would be surprised if he was not coaching in college football in 2026 somewhere at some location, but not necessarily maybe as a head coach. Maybe that kind of ship has sailed for him. But as an assistant coach, recruiting coordinator, he's ready. and it'll be some interesting recruiting calls with him on it. That's all I can say.
No doubt. Well, it's always great to feature you, Mike. Let everybody know how to connect with you, and I look forward to being with you tonight on WWL.
Yeah, great to have you on saintsreport.com and also on WWL.com. And every day it's they say, Mike, get us a guest. Get me a guest. Okay. So, who knows what we're going to get on. We try to get the governor on, but I think maybe the handlers have told him, don't do too many more shows.
Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, guys.
Let's get a break in, Mike Detillier. No.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
The crimson and white jerseys.
Front court to the rack and the plunge.
The sound of a buzzer beater.
Got it to go as the buzzer sounds.
The Roll Tide chant from the crowd. It can only be Alabama basketball. Join the Alabama Crimson Tide right here on your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. I know your accident is the real thing, and they happen to real people.
I'm attorney Justin Lackey. There's a lot of talk right now about bigger, but when you've had a wreck, is bigger better?
I'm attorney Jennifer Lackey. Do you want to be just a case number?
With offices in Huntsville and Scottsboro, we take the time to help.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Don't you wish that you had some secrets to help you get an edge on your business competition? Wouldn't it be great if someone could solve challenges at your company that you don't have the time or expertise to fix on your own? You know, there is a solution. Higher Echelon is a world-class consulting firm based in Huntsville that trains employees in sports psychology secrets to drastically improve work performance. Founder Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets and has put that experience to good use. Higher Echelon helps organizations shave hundreds of hours off work time by improving processes, and Higher Echelon helps organizations save and make more money by walking them through technology updates and implementations. You don't have to go it alone, and you don't have to stay stuck. Higher Echelon is a trusted partner in organizational excellence. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com today to take your company to the next level. Go higher and go Army.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list and maybe a little scary, but it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable reliable service, and legendary results.
Bryant Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
The Tom Abraham Show. Weekdays beginning at noon on 97.7 ESPN The Zone and WZZN TV.
Oh, boy. He sold out. He sold out Kyle Field.
They did.
He sold it out, made a little bit of cash.
For their NIL fund.
Well, they're number 3 in the country. They're not playing at Kyle Field this weekend.
No.
They are at Missouri, 22nd ranked Missouri.
Burrow
Texas
Field.
A&M, a still 6.5-point favorite. Number 3 in the college football playoff rankings, the first initial polls. When we talked about Texas A&M and expectations and everything else and all of that, this is what you think of, right? I mean, this is where they were supposed to be. Never got there really under Jimbo Fisher, but this
one
is
year.
Yeah, this is what you envisioned, though, when you think of Texas A&M. This is what the product was supposed to be.
And then the guy, that's the head coach now, was the defensive coordinator then. He's come back from Duke and been a great fit, probably the best fit since R.C. Slocum. So I know it's still early in his tenure, but a strong start for Mike Elko. They look like the best team in the Southeastern Conference, and we're going to talk about it with a good friend of ours. Great to have him back, Travis L. Brown. He's, of course, the senior sports writer covering A&M for KBTX Sports, and he's going to talk some Aggies with us this morning. Travis, welcome back to Huntsville. You're with Drew and Scott. How are you?
Hey, good to be talking to you all again, guys. Can't complain. It's football season. It's feeling like football season. The weather outside, so it's just good time to be watching some football.
Good time to watch Texas A&M, though. I mean,
they've been a fun team to watch, certainly.
Yeah, one of the most complete teams right now, I think, in college football.
I would agree, and I think that the thing that's been the hallmark of why they've been so successful isn't necessarily that they've been flawless through the season, but whenever one aspect, one kind of phase of the game, or one phase of the phase of the game is kind of not shown up fully to a game, another phase has picked it up and won the game for them. And so certainly not a just all around dominant team, but a team that absolutely has found a way to win and different ways to win through the season.
And we would have hardly thought it, over a year ago when Coach Elko came in. Connor Wegman was a guy that was heavily recruited, was a 5-star player, but he's now with Willie Fritz at Houston. And Marcel Reed, under the radar, Nashville, Tennessee native. But what a dynamic force of nature he's become. Probably a top 4 guy for the Heisman. And then money well spent in the portal, Travis. Casey Concepcion from NC State. And then, a guy we're very familiar with that's maybe had, the biggest impact of any receiver in college football out of the portal, and that's Mario Craver.
Yeah, the funny thing is you talk about Marcel Reed and maybe being a Heisman finalist, Heisman candidate. He actually, by some argument, could maybe be the 4th best guy on the offense, because I think Mario Craver, Casey Concepcion are the 2 standout best players on offense so far this season with the impact they've been able to make. And especially if you highlight Mario Craver, his ability to get out of tackles. He said early in the season, Mississippi State wasn't necessarily utilizing him the best way, and that's one of the reasons he got in the transfer portal. If you look at the numbers, they put him out wide and they tried to send him deep a lot last year. And what A&M has done is his average depth of target is about 10 yards shorter than it was at Mississippi State, and he is second in the country in yards after catch, and he's second in the country with missed tackles created if you're looking at Pro Football Focus. So they've gotten the ball to him in the short to intermediate range and just watched him create plays and create yards, which has been something really, really exciting to see. Casey Concepcion is doing everything he is in the receiving game and in the punt return game, has 2 punt returns for touchdowns. And then before he got injured, you could almost even argue that Le'Veon Moss was one of the the best guys on offense. And then Marcel Reed's been great. So that offense has been clicking, and it's been impressive to see the way they've all worked together.
And defensively, I mean, you mentioned
The
it.
front, man.
Yeah. Wow. Physical. Mike Elko, I mean, comes in and really, you mentioned the fit and the character. That front end just plays like him. I mean, just his persona, just tough.
Yeah, it's interesting because the defensive line was maybe one of the biggest question marks coming into the season, because you lose Shamar Stewart, Shamar Turner, Nick Scorton to the NFL draft last season, and there was people out there who was wondering how do you replace that? And I'd almost argue that the defensive front has been even better this year than it had been last year. Cassius Howell has stepped up and been just a force. But last year, the guys were really good at getting to the quarterback. They just weren't as good at getting the quarterback down. This year, A&M is first in the country in sacks per game, and just absolutely on a tear. And you're right, that defensive front has been maybe even better this year than the guys last year, and that was a pretty salty defensive front.
And we're talking to Travis L. Brown, and we're breaking down Texas A&M. What are your thoughts on this road trip to Missouri? They're on their third quarterback. They've had injuries to Sam Horn, first game of the year, Bo Pribula against Vanderbilt. Now they have a young freshman who I thought acquitted himself well against Vanderbilt, but now you're taking on maybe the best team in the SEC. But your thoughts on the matchup headed down to Como?
Yeah, on paper, this actually looks to be maybe one of A&M's toughest games of the season, of the conference slate. I mean, you go back and you thought, LSU was going to be one of those. You thought Florida was going to be one of those. And those are two teams now that are without head coaches, though the talent is there on paper. The defense is really salty from Missouri. And I think, you look at both these teams and they've kind of made a name for themselves with their offense so far this season. But you look at the defensive numbers, I can see every bit of this being a defensive battle between both teams this season, even with the offenses that they've had, because the defenses are so good as well. It'll be interesting. And this is an important game for A&M because when you look at the college football playoff rankings, they said there's not a whole lot that separates Ohio State, Indiana, and Texas A&M. And one of the things that does differentiate is Texas A&M has 2 ranked games left in Missouri and Texas. Ohio State has 1 in Michigan, and Indiana doesn't have any more. So big test for A&M when you want to look at postseason seeding and all that too as well.
You used the word salty a minute ago, and you just brought up Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, we were excited when the Texas came into the league because it brought back the Texas A&M Texas matchup. Boy, to have that come back and be the second year, and then have Texas and Texas A&M with what could be at stake at that ball game, that could be very fun.
Yeah, well, and they even got a little bit of a preview of that last year, because out of nowhere, A&M had a good season, and basically the game in Kyle Field last year was for a trip to the SEC title game. And, that it could be the same thing all over again this year, and with even bigger playoff, idea for the playoff. And so, that's going to be a great matchup. It's going to be back in Austin, and just a good all around time for both those fan bases.
Yeah, it's going to be, the implications could be really steep if Texas can continue to find a way to escape and win. We've seen Arch Manning improve, but certainly this A&M team has been firing on all cylinders. When Travis, I know Le'Veon Moss has been out. Certainly Reuben Owens has picked up the slack. But when might we see Le'Veon Moss again?
Yeah, the timetable it still hasn't changed from when he kind of first went out injured in that Florida game. They're expecting him to be back before the end of the regular season, but that's about all that they've been able to give us so far. So you're looking at maybe maybe that Texas game. They said, if they do make a postseason run, which is expected right now, that he should be able to be back. But, the interesting thing is Le'Veon has kind of struggle even before he got hurt with, some other injuries, coming back from the injury that he had last year, having some kind of stomach anxiety related issues that would take him out for some periods of the game. And Reuben Owens stepped in and was almost on pace to have the same amount of carries. It's a incredibly deep position group for the Aggies. When you have also Reuben Owens, you have Amari Daniels, you have E.J. Smith, son of Emmitt Smith.
That's right.
And then the true freshman, Jamarian Morrow, who almost has become the kind of number two behind Reuben Owens as a true freshman. You don't ever want to lose a guy like Le'Veon Moss and the talent that he has, but there is no rush probably to get him back because of the effectiveness of all the guys behind him too.
Yeah.
Mike Elko just seems to be very comfortable in his own skin, very comfortable at Texas A&M, very comfortable even with the other coaches. I mean, he shares the whole thing with he and Bucky McMillan texting after Bucky gets his first win, and that Bucky jokes with him that, hey, I couldn't lose a game before you did. He just seems very comfortable at Texas A&M.
Yeah, it's been interesting because that's been a kind of a point of conversation amongst a lot of the coaches that we've talked to in all of the sports. And I think, the identity of an athletic department does kind of mirror the football coach, because the football coach is kind of the figurehead of the coaching community at the school. And he's mentioned this last week. He's a big sports fan. He goes to a lot of different A&M games when he has time, and he says he doesn't do it to just be on the camera. He does it because, if he wasn't a coach in his free time, he'd want to go just watch a whole bunch of sports games. But the coaching community at A&M, I think, has really benefited from him being the lead guy, because I think they have a good little fraternity at A&M, and they do talk to each other and kind of share trade secrets and have a little bit of a community. And I think that is a little bit of a reflection of, Mike Elko's. He's kind of a down-to-earth guy. He's not a head football coach up on a pedestal. And I think it's reflective of that in the whole athletic department.
Well, and I've got to ask you too. Well, you just mentioned him. We know Bucky McMillan very well. We've had him on this show. We followed his entire career. He just had his 100th win, his first game at Texas A&M. Big shoes to fill, because I thought Buzz did a great job at A&M during his tenure there before going to Maryland. But what kind of excitement and buzz is around Bucky?
Yeah, I think the thing about the biggest thing about Bucky for A&M fans is the fact that you couldn't have picked a system more different than the one that's been at A&M the last 6 years with Buzz Williams. Buzz Williams was the football equivalent of 3 yards and a cloud of dust. Bucky McMillan is Mike Leach air raid. And I think that A&M fans are pretty excited to get to see a new style of basketball. And let me tell you, it was high octane. I don't understand how the players have the cardio to get through that full court press for the full 40 minutes that they do. But it is a fascinating way to play basketball, and just the amount of 3-point shooting talent that he brought in for this team. I think A&M fans are pretty excited about what Bucky ball can look like, and I'm really interested to see how Bucky ball fares in the SEC. I think it's going to do pretty well, but it kind of does feel, to bring in the football analogy of like when Kevin Sumlin or Hugh Freeze came into the SEC back then and had this spread high octane offense against the SEC. I'm curious to see how this defense, how his crazy defense works against some of the SEC teams. I think one of the players we asked what it feels like playing Bucky ball, and he said it's like it's like a dog with zoomies. I think it's a pretty good analogy.
No doubt, and especially with the mascot for Texas A&M, that's a great analogy. Well, Travis, we appreciate you coming back on with us and catching up and giving us some insight into A&M football and basketball. Let everybody know how to follow your work.
Yeah, you can find it on kvtx.com. It's free there, no paywalls, and I'm on pretty much all the social medias at Travis_L_Brown.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Travis.
You got it.
Let's get that final break in. We'll wrap all of this up with your headlines next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Travel accommodations for 97.7 ESPN The Zone provided by University Kia. Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly sunny sky this afternoon. Going to be a great day. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid 70s, dropping into the low 50s as we head into the overnight. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy skies. We head into your Friday afternoon. Temperatures climbing into the low and mid 70s. There is a chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms as we head into Friday evening, and that could have an impact on Friday night football.
Your Fox 54 weather only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
Firehawk Aerospace is a non-traditional defense contractor advancing the state of propulsion to strengthen the U.S. Defense Initiative. Founded in 2019, Firehawk Aerospace established early leadership in manufactured propulsion with the development of 3D printed hybrid rocket fuel grains. Visit firehawkaerospace.com to learn more. That's firehawkaerospace.com.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Crain Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Crain Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Saturday, we get Alabama LSU.
Yep.
Do you know, I'm sure you remember this.
Yep.
32 years ago today, LSU stopped Alabama's 31-game winning streak November 6th, 1993. 17-13 was the final.
I was in the stands.
32 years ago today.
I believe that was 32 years ago.
Yep.
Jay Barker got hurt. Coach Stallings put Brian Bergdorf at quarterback instead of David Palmer. When he finally put Palmer in, Alabama started moving the ball up and down the field. If he'd have put the Deuce in at quarterback right away, I think Alabama beats LSU. But it was probably the biggest win for Curly Hallman at LSU. And we've had Coach Hallman on the show.
Yeah.
Great guy. But it was an unmitigated disaster while he was there. It never made sense, only because he recruited so well. And he did such a great job at Southern Miss. I thought he would do a great job at LSU. It was kind of like Brian Kelly, though. It just didn't work out.
Fit.
Fit
is the word of the day.
Just could not get it going. But they did that day, and the Deuce worked his magic to rally the troops, but they could not quite
get it done.
And LSU snapped Alabama's long winning streak under Gene
32
Stallings.
games. All right, let's go out to the phone lines. Who's with us again?
Who's waiting with us?
Yeah. Robert. Okay. Robert's with us. I knew I didn't write it down. That's my bad.
Thank you for holding.
Yes, how are y'all today?
Doing good.
We're doing well. What's up, man?
I'm just caught the tail end of the Mike Detillier.
Yes.
Talking about LSU.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if he keeps up with LSU as detailed as I do week to week, day to day. But Brian Kelly was that bad of a coach. And I think come Saturday night, people are going to see how bad of a coach Brian Kelly was.
You think they're going to play a little bit better? I mean, a whole lot better because of Brian Kelly being gone.
They would play better.
You got to look at why Brian Kelly got fired. Do y'all know why?
Well, of course. I mean, he didn't. His offenses weren't good enough. I mean, and you heard Mike say he didn't relate to his players very well. There was a disconnect there. Yeah. They didn't invest in their offensive line nearly well enough.
He hired an offensive coordinator with 1 year's experience.
Yeah.
As his quarterback coach when Denbrock went back to Notre Dame.
That's right.
That's not the right replacement. Mike Denbrock was a great offensive coordinator. Brian Kelly's. It's going to come out Saturday night how bad of a coach Brian Kelly really was.
Yeah, Joe Sloan was promoted.
All right, Robert, thanks for the phone call, bud.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks for the call.
Well, I mean, look, that's sometimes, and Mike says, though, sometimes you can wave the wand, sometimes you can't wave the wand and fix everything that's gone wrong after you fire your coach. But there are some people that really believe that because Brian Kelly is gone, this LSU team
Joe Sloan
is going to be completely different on Saturday.
Well, I mean, I think they're going to be better. I still think they're going to lose to the Tide. I think Alabama's got the better team, but I certainly think LSU's talented enough. And then you also got to take into account, I know he had 2 weeks to heal up, but how healthy is Garrett Nussmeier, and how good is this offensive line? Are they capable of playing their best game of the year? Because that's what it's going to take against Alabama.
Same thing can be said with Auburn. You look at the reporters were allowed inside Auburn's practice yesterday for the first time since Hugh Freeze has been let go. No religious music being played, no Bible verses, no quotes on the boards like there was when Hugh Freeze was there.
Switchfoot.
Completely different tone at practice. Will Auburn play with a different tone on Saturday at Vanderbilt?
If they
offensively,
they've got a chance to win if they can get better QB play and just play complementary football with their defense.
Yeah. All right, it's going to do it for us. You and I don't know, somebody's in here tomorrow.
That's right. Yeah, I think it's either Joe or Steve Moulton. I'll have to double check on that.
Yeah, AVCA beach volleyball for me next 3 days. All right, back at it tomorrow.
It'll rain on you.
Tide fans.
Here comes the Tide.
Let's roll.
And one for the win.